Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently building factories still. We're working on it. We'll get that finished up soon enough though. We're building these factories very quickly at this point. Recon Company 4 just finished up. That's great. So at this point, what else are we interested in, like, militarily? Honestly, there's not all that much. I guess we could take night vision too. That's definitely a thing that we could do. So that seems okay. Support companies are pretty much done. For the moment, we have no interest in armor, although that will likely change once we run out of other things to research. So taking a look through here, naval we're not interested in, air we're not interested in right now. So I think the only real option at this point is to go down this way. So that seems absolutely fine. Now, our situation up here is not all that fantastic, to be honest. I'm wondering. Can we just send this guy up here to deal with this? Let's do it. I don't see any defenders up here. So let's do that. Now, Moscow has fallen, so that's, you know, not necessarily ideal. Also, our guys aren't really doing anything here. There's massive supply issues. This isn't our problem. We don't really care. So that is absolutely fine for now. I do want to grab anti-air upgrade. We'll get that going. Excellent. And back in our territory, how long till the end of the fiscal year? A while yet. 299 days. Okay. So, Khalistan here. This is going to be in Kashmir. So that's going to be up over this way. Kashmir is actually currently full. We can do this, but this is going to end up being a reroll. We're going to reroll what is currently selected as the state this is going to go to. That's fine. But it does mean we're going to lose a civilian factory without shuffling it the way it's supposed to happen. That's understood. We'll do it anyway. Balochistan, what do we got going on here? This is going to be in Kalat. Okay, so that's going to be out over here. Once again, this is going to be a reroll. I don't love it, but we'll do it. Now over here in China, this is going to be in Gansu. Do we hold Gansu? No, we do not. Okay. Again, this is fundamentally going to be a reroll. We'll get Gansu eventually, I'm sure. So we'll just do it for now. This would be in Waziristan, which is right here. That's absolutely fine. So we're happy about that one. Rajputana here, this is going to be in here. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll definitely do that. This is going to be also in Waziristan. So that looks great. We will absolutely do that. Very interested in doing that. And then over here in Kashmir, this is going to be in northern Kashmir, which is in Pakistan. That would be absolutely fine. We just need to get a factory for that. So that sounds good. We should have one done fairly soon here, in theory. There we go. So here in Kashmir, we'll absolutely do that. Okay, so that looks wonderful. We'll get some more of these going in. But for now, that looks great. We can, of course, queue up additional civilian factories since we've funneled some of those. So let's get some of that going. Fantastic. There's actually quite a large number of them that we can queue up here. American Spain has capitulated. Okay, then. Well, I wish them luck with that endeavor. So at this point, if we look in at our construction here, we can see that we are not quite building all of these at once. Understood. And that's reasonably fine as well. I'm not terribly concerned about that. So, yeah, as long as we have these going quickly, which they are going quickly, this is completely and totally fine. I don't mind it. So at this point, Khalistan. This is going to be in East Punjab, which is out over here. Absolutely fine. That's not a problem. Done. Balochistan. This is going to be in Sistan. So Sistan is out over here, which is wonderful. We're very happy to have that there. So that looks great. We'll move that right on over. So that's going to go in there. Excellent. And then this is going to go to Qingdao, which is... Qingdao is directly over here, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. We like that. That is good. So that reroll was successful. Okay, so then Pakistan out over here is going to be going where? Also to... Oh, that's actually going to West Punjab. So that is going to be here in Khalistan. Okay, sure. Why not? Next up would be Rajputana. This is absolutely acceptable. We are completely okay with that. Northwestern Frontier Provinces, Peshawar. Okay, so that is going to be the capital up here. That's still fine, although we'd kind of prefer it to go into Waziristan, but it's okay either way. So that seems good. And then, of course, we've got Kashmir again, which we're waiting on another factory for. We'll get there soon enough. The Congolese state declared war on the Congolese state, according to the Congolese state. You know, I always find it funny in Hearts of Iron when this happens. That's pretty funny. Okay, so that is absolutely fine. As far as our production goes, we, of course, could use some additional resources. Wow, minus 107 steel. That's kind of a lot, but I don't care so much right now. So this is reasonably fine for the moment. Now we do have a decent amount of political power, and we are building up our weekly stability a little bit. So that's something. Now we should probably... I don't think we should think about integrating any of these vassals yet. I think what we should think about doing with this political power is coring. That would hurt our consumer goods factories factor, but I wonder by how much, because we know we're at the minimum here, right? So how much would that actually affect it? So we're at 10%. So that would be 15% is the base expectation. Minus 25, so that puts us at minus 10. Night shifts is plus 5, so that puts us at minus 5. Aga Khan III is at minus 10, so that puts us at minus 15. And then minus 21 would, in theory, put us at minus 36. So that would be like plus 4, depending on how that factors multiplied together works. So there's that. That'll be interesting. I mean, 4% consumer goods wouldn't be too bad. I would not mind that. That would be absolutely A-okay as far as I'm concerned. So we can probably... Actually, we don't have additionals. Here we do. Perfect. So Kashmir. Where is this? This is in Kashmir directly, which is currently full. So this would be a reroll, and Kashmir does have claims around, so that is in fact a reroll. That's not just straight up completed. So for now, let's see if any of these others would not be a reroll. This would be in Peshawar. Okay. So that is, of course, right up here, which would be fine, but not necessarily ideal. I guess it's okay. So that's fine for the moment. We can let our factories build up a little bit here. We definitely can spend some time building. We don't have to have this spent down quite as much as we have been, so this is okay. We'll just get all of these queued back up. Looks perfect. So yeah, we'll work on building some factories for a little bit here, and we will work on some of these eventually. We'll get there. But we're funneling it around and rebuilding the factories, right? That's what's happening right now. So it feels kind of like we're spinning our wheels on that, but we aren't. We're actually getting huge amounts of civilian factories built up here. We are absolutely a civilian industry powerhouse right now. There's no doubt about that. We have unassigned divisions over here. Oh, this is from King Dao. Okay. That's interesting. And they're not in this theater? Okay. Well, we're just going to shuffle them into our Coast Guard for now.
Come out.
Yeah, all of these are just going to go into our Coast Guard. So advanced artillery upgrade has been finished. That is, of course, a good thing, and we want to not really do anything else here. We could start working on some of our anti-tank. This is for armored cars. Support anti-tank. Yeah, we don't really use any of this anti-tank over here. Yeah, none of this would be at all useful for us under our current military setup. So that's not very great. Rocket artillery here, this is specifically, well, rocket launchers, and we don't use those either for right now. So that's understood. We can start grabbing improved equipment conversion. So that seems okay. Might not be a bad thing to do that, actually. Here's another military unit that we can put into our Coast Guard. Our Coast Guard is getting closer to full, but it's not entirely there. So that's understood. We should probably consider doing a coring right now. So we can core this, which is right out over here. Consider that done. So we expected to be at 14% consumer goods factories now. 11%. That's better than expected. Okay, so that's good. And that's only going to happen for so long. So the Great Iranian Republic joined the Central Powers? Okay, things are getting wacky at this time, but that's understood. The Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere is becoming a thing again. Okay. Switzerland took a state from Austria. Yeah, things are very off the rails. No doubt about that. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so this is up in Peshawar. This is, we know, a reroll. So this is in Kalat. That is also going to be a reroll. So that was this over here. Yeah, that's a reroll. So Shanghai. We don't control Shanghai. Where is Shanghai exactly? My geography in China is not super strong. Okay, it's down over here. That's quite a long ways away. We could buy Shandong and work our way down this way. So this is a core state for all of China out over here. We could definitely start expanding our Chinese holdings. There's no doubt about that. That would certainly be interesting to do. Very interesting indeed. So for now, I'm not sure if we want to do that. Well, maybe we do. Would Japan be willing to do this? This would be 5 controlled civilian factories. Okay. So yeah, there's going to be 6 factories to buy this. Do we know what's here? We don't. But I mean, we would in the long run, as long as it's less than 25 factories that we get from this, it would pay off, or that we pay for it. In the long run, that would be good. So we could definitely start expanding into China. Let's see if Japan would even accept this. They did. That's hilarious. So we can make our way down towards Shanghai. Unfortunately, Nanjing is the capital of the reorganized government of China. And we can't buy capital states. That is, of course, very, very sad. We need to figure out a way around that, to be honest. I don't have a good way to do it right now, but that would definitely be a good thing to do. So anyway, Pakistan. This would be in Shandong, but it would be going to Kalat. So this is a reroll. This is in Rajasthan, so this is also a reroll. A lot of these are rerolls at this point. And this would be directly in Kashmir, so that would also be a reroll. All of these that are currently available are rerolls. So we may want to consider either just re-rolling them, which is an option, or we could simply expand our territory, which is also an option. Speaking of which, we should probably be building civilian factories here. So that looks good for now. We can get those queued up, and we'll get all of that funneled in eventually. It's going to take a very long time before we have China fully good to go, but taking over China is honestly a very good call at this point. Let's see. So China would have claims all the way through here. Yeah. And we can use King Dao to do that. That's very interesting, for sure. Okay, so I want to check up over here. China has claims up this direction. Basically, as long as China has claims, we kind of want it at this point. So we can continue to take over large sections of China. Japan is accepting these trades, which is hilarious. And this, of course, means that we're going to need to enlarge this army eventually, but for now, that's fine. Anti-air upgrade has finished, so we're going to continue to work on that. Okay, that's going to get us more TOW to anti-air. I don't think we actually need to make TOW to anti-air to make the state-based anti-air, though. So that's definitely interesting. No doubt about that. So we have these unassigned divisions here. Japan has declared war on China. We don't care. That's fine. As long as they're not wanting to declare war at us. Ah, so these 9 divisions are now coming back. I don't think we need to farm those out anymore, to be honest. Docking rights from the Soviets. Wait. We're in this war? We are in this war. Okay, hang on. We are definitely in this war. So, to that end, we're going to have some issues here, for sure. So, this is going to be opposing us here. And this is going to be opposing us up here. Okay. So, this is going to be a significant issue. We've got these guys here and these guys here. And then we've got these guys here, of course. So we've got our large Coast Guard here. I'm going to take a few units out of this Coast Guard. And I want them to come over here, and I want them to area defend out over here. It's very odd to me that Japan sold us this territory and then just instantly declared war on us. Specifically, they appear to have declared on China. So that's good to know. I want to take a look at the actual war here. We are not the main belligerent, I don't think. But yeah, they declared war on China. We should absolutely be calling in all of our vassals here. So that is something that we will do. And on the other side includes an awful lot. An awful lot. Okay. So this is a significant problem. No doubt about that. So we're going to need to change up how we have this set up here. So this is all Japanese over on this side, right? So we're going to need to take this force here, specifically these guys, and we're going to need to delete their existing orders. So they have an order here, and I believe they have an order here as well. Yes. Okay, so they're going to need to go up over here. Like this. And their current goal is going to be to offensive line somewhere around here. But we're really bad at attacking, right? So that's understood. These guys, their goal is going to be to attack over here. Although, actually, I'm thinking we might want to swap this around because of our current positionings. So I'm going to change this. We're going to have these frontlining over here. Like this. Although this ends here, and we really need this to extend all the way down. So this front line needs to extend down, but it won't. So instead, we're going to need to select half of these, and we're going to need to frontline them down over here, which is mildly awkward, to be sure. Okay, so then we're going to need these guys to come up here and frontline here and be assigned there. Okay. So now they're going to offensive line, you know, somewhere like here. We'd like to, like, group that up. But we don't expect them to really be able to make much in terms of gains. So that's understood. Next, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to defend a bunch of territory out over here. Right, that's these guys. Right, I intended to split off some forces here. So we wanted to take about 12 of these. There we go. And they are going to go up over here. So I want all of these guys assigned to this order. There we go. Now these are going to be assigned to this order. So they're going to frontline up over here. And their goal is going to be to... Well, we can still offensive line out over here. I don't really expect much in terms of gains. Are the Mongolians in this war? No, they are not. Okay. So that's understood. We are going to want to crank up our recruitment. And we're also going to want to crank up our military production. That's fine. So we can certainly do a lot here. We've been heavily industrializing. But we need to get these put to work, right? So that's understood. At this point, I want to grab 4 units here. moving them into a new army, and that army's goal is to area defend out over here, with the idea being preventing Japanese naval attacks. Did that include Qingdao? Hang on, that's a fallback line. Area defense, including Qingdao. There we go. So that seems okay for now. And we want to immediately begin work on digging in all of these areas. We want to establish a very solid front line here, although we may get pushed out of this, and that's understood. If that happens, that happens. So for now, that's okay. And then we also want to establish anti-air in these areas. 1,000%. We want that to happen. We also want to establish coastal forts out over here. Something kind of like this. So that's going to be a thing. We're going to move the anti-air up, and then I'm going to also put in anti-air in our coastal, like, front line, not really coastal, but our front line regions here. So we're going to do that. There we go. And then I also want to make sure that we have these land forts up at the top. So we're going to come through here, and we're going to move up all of this. That's all going to the top now. It is of high priority, but not highest priority, because we're going to want to come in here, and our Chinese holdings, these are of highest priority. So we're going to do this. Why are all these air bases queued up? I don't want air bases here. Hang on. There we go. Okay, so that's fine for now. We're going to get going on that, but I think I accidentally clicked airbase instead. Yeah, these are not supposed to be air bases. These are supposed to be anti-air. Okay, so it's going to take us a little bit of time to get to these positions, and we might lose some territory at the beginning of this. That's understood. We're going to need a commander here, and we'll promote up this guy. Okay, and then we're going to need a commander here, and that'll be this guy. So that seems fine for right now. We're going to leverage our immense construction capacity here, and we want to prioritize the land forts, specifically these land forts, for right now. So we're going to get all of those land forts going. They should build fairly quickly, and we are moving into position here. So that looks okay. I'm wondering about supplies out in this area. Noted. Okay, so railways out here are quite partial. We should bring this railway out to here and bump that up to rank 5. Bump this to rank 5, this to rank 5, and then I want a connection back here, kind of in the back line here. Like that. So that'll get us supply hubs, or rather supplies, out over here. Our supplies are coming in overseas, and that is absolutely understood. But Japan has decided to be a jerk here. No doubt about that. So we'll figure out where our actual position is there. Our next step is probably to bump to extensive conscription, most likely. Yeah, that's where we want to be, is extensive conscription. So that's understood. I still find it funny that they sold this to us and then just immediately declared war. Can we still buy factories while at war with them? We can with the reorganized government of China, but we can't with Japan. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to use these guys, and we'd like to push out a little bit here to, like, here or so. We can't quite do that, apparently, but to, like, that. Because there's not very much opposing us here, and we'd like to buy a little time. We don't expect to be able to hold this, right? Hang on. Why can't we... Oh, we're still doing exercises. There we go. Let's stop doing exercises. Okay, so that looks fine for now. We'll push out like that, and we'll get some of this construction done, but we absolutely have to dig in and protect our territory here. That is the top priority. So this up here is all fairly protected. So we should think about a potential fallback choke point out over here, which would end up being... Actually, this is a pretty decent setup here, assuming that they don't immediately take this, which they probably will. So we need to think, again, about a fallback point here, and I'm thinking about that or so. Okay, let's get these railways done. That will be pretty quick in theory, but we've got some work to do. No doubt about that. What's the status of our anti-air guns? They are not being worked on at this moment. Okay. I was not expecting to be attacked here, that's for sure. But it's time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to prepare for this war. Japan has decided we are not going to... we're not going to be able to continue to build for a bit. That's okay. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge SKL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.